Are we secure on the dating of all the structures above water on Malta? And I suggest strongly that we're not.
Yeah.
There are very few carbon dates from Malta, and the new dating work that's been done there hasn't added usefully to that database. Been very little carbon dating done on the Maltese temples. And that carbon dating is itself insecure. Malta used to be joined to Sicily during the Ice Age. Malta wasn't an island, it was part of the mainland.
Yeah.
Imagine standing before structures that predate the Great Pyramids and Stonehenge, shrouded in mystery and built by a civilization lost to time.
I believe that's the time where we lost track of an episode in our story, where we lost track of an earlier civilization.
Welcome to the megalithic temples of Malta, some of the oldest freestanding structures on Earth. These architectural marvels are not only masterpieces of ancient engineering, but also portals into the past of a sophisticated society whose understanding of astronomy continues to intrigue scholars and scientists.
A deep understanding of astronomy that could only be gained through hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years of very careful observation.
Join us as we explore the secrets these stone giants hold, revealing insights into a world both ancient and astonishingly advanced. Despite their historical and architectural significance, these ancient temples were not recognized for their true value until the late 19th century. Before this period, local awareness of their antiquity was minimal, and preservation was not considered a priority. Throughout earlier centuries, the temples suffered from local farming and building practices that led to significant deterioration. Stones from these structures were frequently removed and repurposed for new construction projects.
A lot of archaeology that gets done doesn't get done because of a targeted search. It may be because a dam is being built or a new highway is being built.
The first documented mention of the temples appeared in Jean-Quentin d'Autun's 1536 publication Insulae Militae Descriptio, which noted the existence of ancient ruins on Malta, though detailed archaeological interest would only take shape much later. Dating from 3600 BC to 2500 BC, these temples are older than both Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Recognizing their profound historical and cultural significance, several of the temples were designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 1980. This recognition was a crucial step in ensuring their preservation and promoting further scholarly research and public awareness. Systematic studies and excavations of these sites began in earnest in the early 20th century with Sir Themistocles Zammit, a man of many talents including archaeology, medicine, history, and curation. Starting around 1905, Zammit's extensive archaeological work marked a significant pivot towards the scientific exploration of these structures. His efforts established a chronological framework for the construction and usage of the temples, greatly enhancing our understanding of prehistoric Maltese culture.
A lost civilization of prehistoric antiquity.
Zammit's findings not only attracted international scholarly interest, but also helped increase tourism, bringing additional funding and support for further studies. Among his discoveries were numerous artifacts, including pottery, tools, and the iconic Fat Lady figurines, thought to represent a fertility goddess or a maternal figure. Continuing from the fascinating historical backdrop and archaeological discoveries, the megalithic temples of Malta are not just ancient architectural marvels. They are sophisticated structures that intricately reflect the socio-religious fabric of the society that constructed them. Their design demonstrates an advanced knowledge of stonework and astronomy. The temples are renowned for their unique trefoil layout, which consists of 3 semicircular chambers connected by a central corridor. This design is not only unique to Maltese temple architecture, but is also laden with symbolic meanings. It could represent various stages of life, celestial bodies, or deities from local mythology, with the repetition of the number 3 perhaps signifying a sacred or divine principle in their cosmology. Functionally, these chambers likely serve diverse ritualistic or communal purposes, each possibly dedicated to different aspects of life or deities. The layout itself facilitates processional movements, which are believed to have been part of the ritual activities conducted within these sacred spaces. Moreover, the orientation and layout of the temples are marked by astronomical precision. For instance, The Manadra South Temple aligns with the equinox sunrise, allowing light to flood the main corridor and central chambers at specific times of the year. This dramatic interplay of light and shadows could have been crucial for marking seasonal changes and regulating ceremonial calendars.
There was a highly sophisticated knowledge of the precession of the equinoxes, that it's impossible to trace how far back it goes.
The choice of temple locations also takes into account visual and environmental factors, such as line of sight to important landscape features, horizon visibility for astronomical observations, and protection from prevailing winds, showing a sophisticated integration of architecture with the natural landscape. The structural engineering techniques used in the temples also reveal the builders' innovative approaches. The use of corbelling, where stones are laid horizontally and each successive layer extends slightly beyond the one below, allowed the creation of self-supporting domed or vaulted structures. This early form of arch construction, predating Roman arches, illustrates their advanced engineering capabilities. Additionally, the flexibility inherent in the corbelling and the interlocking of megaliths without mortar could have provided some resistance to seismic activity, an important consideration given Malta's location within the Mediterranean seismic belt. The decorative elements of the temples further enrich their architectural sophistication. Elaborate carvings and reliefs, including spirals, animal figures, and plant motifs, are deeply engraved into the limestone. These decorations are not merely ornamental, they are imbued with symbolic meanings, possibly representing fertility, the cycle of life, or a connection to nature. Artifacts such as the famous Fat Lady sculptures and other statuettes found in and around the temples suggest that these sites also served as focal points for art and culture. Additionally, traces of red ochre found on some temple walls indicate that color was used either to enhance certain carvings or to demarcate special areas within the temples, adding another layer to the sophisticated aesthetic and ceremonial aspects of the temple architecture. The construction techniques used in the megalithic temples of Malta further highlight the advanced engineering of their creators. The construction of these ancient temples showcases an exceptional mastery of various techniques that have contributed to their preservation through millennia.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
One of the most critical materials in the construction of these temples is Globigerina limestone, a sedimentary rock predominant in the Maltese archipelago. Notably soft when freshly quarried, this limestone allowed artisans to carve intricate details and shape the stones with relative ease. As the limestone is exposed to air, it undergoes a hardening process due to the gradual evaporation of inherent moisture and crystallization of minerals. This transformation significantly enhances the resilience and longevity of the structures. The intricate carvings on the temple walls, including spiral designs and animal figures, attest to the high level of craftsmanship and the advanced tools and techniques employed during their creation. The logistics involved in moving and assembling massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, were formidable. Theories suggest that the builders might have used log rollers, stone balls, or sledges made from tree trunks, often lubricated with plant oils or animal fats to reduce friction. This suggests a highly organized society with clear hierarchies and labor specialization, capable of coordinating large-scale construction efforts. There is also evidence to suggest that ramps made from earth or smaller stones were used to position these large blocks, similar to techniques used in other ancient civilizations. Moreover, the temples exemplify an advanced use of mortarless construction. Builders employed a technique of cutting and fitting stones so precisely that no mortar was needed to hold them together. This dry stone technique, known for its durability and flexibility in seismic activity, involves crafting joints that interlock without gaps. The lack of mortar not only prevents erosion, but also allows the structures to breathe during earthquakes, enabling the stones to shift slightly and settle back without causing structural damage, a technique that has proven effective in other earthquake-prone regions like those encountered by Inca architects. It's fascinating to draw parallels and contrast these ancient marvels with other legendary structures like Machu Picchu. Both sites utilize mortarless construction techniques, which not only exemplifies the precision of stone cutting in ancient times, but also ensures the stability and longevity of these structures. This shared approach underlines a profound understanding of stone properties and structural engineering across two very different cultures. However, the cultural contexts and geographical settings of the megalithic temples and Machu Picchu are distinctly different. The temples in Malta were primarily religious structures. In contrast, Machu Picchu likely served a dual purpose as both a royal estate and a religious retreat, possibly. Geographically, the Maltese temples are nestled on a small island terrain, whereas Machu Picchu sits high in the Andes Mountains. These differences reflect how each culture adapted its architectural styles and techniques to fit its environment and societal needs. During World War II, Malta's strategic position in the Mediterranean made it a prime target, leading to heavy bombings. The value of the megalithic temples was recognized during these turbulent times, prompting significant protective measures. One notable method was the sand covering technique used at sites like Hagar Kim, where heaps of earth and sand were piled over the temples to cushion the impact of bomb blasts and prevent damage from flying debris. While this method helped prevent direct damage during air raids, it also introduced challenges like moisture retention, which could accelerate erosion of the stonework. After the war, extensive surveys and careful removal of sand were necessary to assess any damage and prevent further stress on the ancient stones. These ongoing research and conservation efforts are vital for sustaining the legacy of the megalithic temples of Malta, allowing future generations to marvel at these testaments to human ingenuity and resilience.
Picture this: a giant, almost circular dome sprawling 40 kilometers across the Sahara. So massive it's visible from space, but it's not just its size that's mind-blowing. The Richat structure's beauty lies in its complexity, especially its mesmerizing concentric rings. These rings aren't your regular circles. They're like fingerprints, each one unique in width, composition, and how time and the elements have worn them down. It's as if nature itself was playing architect, crafting a masterpiece over millions of years through erosion.
It is a site that most people have never seen or heard of before, which is truly peculiar because it's so spectacular.
Wind and water have sculpted this dome layer by layer, revealing a range of rings that tell a story of resilience and transformation. Now let's delve into what makes up this stunning structure.
And what I'm focusing on is the lost capital city, which was said to be made up of concentric circles, 3 of water, 2 of land, which matches the Richat structure.
The outermost rings boast Proterozoic quartzite, a rock so tough and ancient it's been around for over 600 million years. Imagine that. Quartzite starts off as sandstone and undergoes a metamorphosis with heat and pressure, emerging as this incredibly hard rock. Move inward, and the materials shift to softer, sedimentary rocks like limestone, which forms in marine environments, and sandstone, composed of tiny mineral grains. At the heart of the Richat structure, there's a fascinating mix called siliceous breccia, essentially a jumble of angular rock fragments bonded together, often found in volcanic areas or places with a lot of geological action. The Richat structure is not just a feast for the eyes, it's a geologist's dream. The variety of rock types and the formation's history offer a rare glimpse into the Earth's geological processes. When you dive into the origins of the Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, you're essentially unpacking a geological mystery that's been in the making for millions of years. At the heart of this mystery is the uplifted dome theory, which geologists lean towards when explaining how this stunning feature came to be. Imagine the Earth's crust getting a gentle nudge from below, creating a bulge on the surface. Over eons, wind and water went to work on this dome, chiseling away at it. But here's the catch: not all rocks are made the same. Some are tougher, others are softer, so they didn't all erode at the same pace. This selective erosion crafted the Richat structure's iconic concentric rings, each layer telling a story of resilience and time. But wait, there's a twist in the tale thanks to Jimmy Corsetti.
The question becomes, is it big enough to be a city with possibly millions of people? Because the way it was described is that it was a city that was said to be busy all day, all night, rich in trade, with languages spoken from all over.
He floats a rather intriguing idea that maybe, just maybe, ancient humans had a hand in sculpting the Richat structure. While this leans more towards speculation, it's a fascinating thought that adds a pinch of mystery to an already captivating story. Now let's talk about the Sahara Desert, the Richat structure's vast, arid home. This desert environment, with its relentless wind erosion, has been a key player in shaping the structure. But remember, the Sahara wasn't always a desert.
And what people don't realize is that Sahara Africa, up until about 4,500 to 5,000 years ago, was totally green.
It has seen its fair share of climatic roller coasters over millions of years, each phase leaving its mark on the rate and style of erosion at the site. The rocks at the Risha structure are ancient historians, some dating back over 600 million years, offering a glimpse into the Earth's early days, continental drifts, and the dawn of life. The creation of the Risha structure wasn't an overnight affair. It was a marathon of geological activity, from the shifting of tectonic plates to the whims of climate change, all contributing to the structure's unique appearance. Erosion played the role of the sculptor, methodically revealing the different layers of rock beneath. One of the most striking aspects of the Rishat structure is its near-perfect circular pattern, a feature so distinctive that astronauts use it as a space landmark.
Even if you went to Mauritania, so you could see this from space, astronauts use it as a locator, and they weren't really familiar or aware of it until the Gemini missions in the early 1960s.
It's a mesmerizing pattern that stands out in the vastness of the Sahara. Plato's tales of Atlantis, nestled within his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, really do spark the imagination, don't they? Written in the 4th century BC, at a time when Athens was basking in its golden era of philosophy and culture, Plato wasn't just any philosopher. He was a master of exploring deep concepts about society, ethics, and the nature of reality itself. Through these dialogues, it's like he's engaging in a spirited chat, using his characters to weave through various ideas and viewpoints. Then there's Atlantis, this mythical island city that Plato claimed existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which we commonly associate with the Strait of Gibraltar today. He didn't hold back on the details, portraying Atlantis as a gargantuan landmass, outstripping the size of Libya and Asia put together. The description of its layout is nothing short of fascinating, featuring a series of concentric rings of land and sea that would have required an extraordinary feat of engineering to construct, with its elaborate canals and bridges. At the core of Atlantis was its fertile central plain, a farmer's dream, encircled by towering mountains that offered both a wealth of resources and a natural fortress. But the allure of Atlantis extended beyond its geography. Plato painted a picture of a city flush with resources and technological prowess, boasting an abundance of metals like the enigmatic orichalcum, alongside gold and silver. The infrastructure was ahead of its time, complete with sophisticated water systems, majestic temples, grand palaces, and bustling docks. Yet Atlantis was more than its physical attributes. Plato envisioned a society with a rich tapestry of laws, traditions, and governance, underpinned by a formidable military might. However, as the narrative unfolds, Atlantis transitions from a utopian exemplar to a cautionary tale of corruption and decline, ultimately leading to its downfall. This story, layered with intricate details and moral undertones, continues to captivate and fuel the imagination, a testament to Plato's enduring legacy. While there's a resemblance to Plato's Atlantis, the geographical settings throw us for a loop. The Risha structure sits in the heart of the Sahara, far from the Atlantic Ocean, where Atlantis was said to be.
But another little detail that most people aren't aware of, because they think of Atlantis like, oh, it must be at the bottom of the ocean. Well, that's not exactly how Plato worded it. Like, a lot of people see the Sahara Desert, and they don't realize that this place was unbelievably different than it is today.
This discrepancy hasn't stopped theorists from suggesting that perhaps the Sahara's landscape was vastly different in the past, possibly even near water, or more hospitable than today's arid expanse. The Eye of the Sahara isn't just a geological wonder, it's a treasure trove of archaeological finds that shed light on ancient human life. Stone tools scattered around the area, including arrowheads, scrapers, and axes, tell tales of hunting and crafting. Pottery fragments whisper secrets of domestic life, indicating a significant leap in cultural and technological evolution. But it's the remnants of potential permanent settlements that really pique our curiosity, suggesting that this wasn't merely a waypoint for nomads, but a home for a settled community. The rock art adorning cliff faces and cave interiors near the Risha structure is nothing short of mesmerizing. These paintings and engravings, featuring animals like antelopes and elephants, transport us to a time when the Sahara thrived with life. Human figures and abstract designs depicted in these artworks offer glimpses into the social, cultural, and possibly spiritual lives of these ancient peoples. The rock art adorning cliff faces and cave interiors near the Rishat structure is nothing short of mesmerizing. These archaeological discoveries are not just remnants of a bygone era, they're pieces of a puzzle that help us piece together the story of human existence and evolution in the Sahara. They speak of adaptation and resilience in the face of climatic shifts that transformed a once lush region into the vast desert we see today. The prospect of permanent settlements, while still under investigation, opens new chapters in the story of African prehistory, enriching our understanding of early human societies on this diverse continent. It's a testament to the power of the past, and how even the smallest clues can illuminate the vast tapestry of human history. Beneath the rose-red cliffs of Petra, an ancient city carved into sandstone holds mysteries that have puzzled scientists for centuries.
First organization of human beings that deserved to be called a civilization.
Recent discoveries in this lost city have surprised experts, challenging our understanding of ancient civilizations. As shadows reveal new celestial alignments on the grand facades and columns during the equinox, we are left wondering, what secrets do the stones of Petra still hold?
I don't think we're looking at coincidence here. There's too much going on. I think coincidence is a very weak explanation for what's happening.
The story of Petra, often called the Lost City, stretches back to as early as the 4th century BCE, when it was founded and rose to prominence by the 1st century BCE as the capital of the Nabatean kingdom. Nestled in the cliffs of vibrant red, white, pink and sandstone, Petra was at the heart of a bustling trade empire. Its strategic location on the spice trade routes connected it with far-flung regions from China and India to southern Arabia, and onto Egypt, Syria, Greece and Rome.
You go to Egypt and you'll find influence of the Nabateans. Everywhere we look, we find some reference at some time to the Nabateans.
The city thrived not just commercially but culturally and architecturally, demonstrating advanced techniques in water conservation. Its engineers crafted an intricate system of dams, cisterns and water channels that sustained both the city's population and its agriculture through harsh desert conditions. However, following its annexation by Rome in 106 CE, Petra began to experience a slow decline. Initially, it flourished under Roman influence, but as trade routes shifted towards the sea and devastating earthquakes struck in the 4th and 6th centuries, the city gradually lost its former glory. By the time the Islamic conquests swept through in the 7th century, Petra was reduced to a shadow of its former self, mainly inhabited by a few local Bedouin tribes who lived among the ruins and closely guarded its secrets. Throughout the Middle Ages and well into the 18th century, Petra remained enveloped in obscurity, particularly to the Western world. The Crusaders controlled the region briefly in the 12th century and even established a fortress there, but knowledge of Petra's once grandeur was limited to local tribes and a few knowledgeable Arab scholars. The renowned 14th century explorer Ibn Battuta mentioned Petra during his travels, describing it as a remote place with buildings impressively carved into rock faces. This period in Petra's history mirrors that of another ancient city, Machu Picchu in Peru, which also remained hidden from Western awareness until its rediscovery in 1911 by Hiram Bingham. Both cities were advanced in manipulating their natural environments, Petra with its sophisticated water management systems, and Machu Picchu with its terraced fields and intricate urban planning. The prolonged European ignorance of Petra lasted until the 19th century, with the region fading into the realm of myth and legend. Many in Europe were completely unaware of Petra's existence, despite ancient texts hinting at the architectural marvels that lay hidden in the Jordanian mountains. This mystery persisted until explorers reintroduced Petra to the Western world, bridging the gap between ancient lore and modern recognition. Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, born in 1784, was a Swiss traveler and scholar whose profound curiosity and academic prowess led him to significant contributions towards the Western understanding of lost or lesser-known ancient sites. Mastering multiple languages and immersing himself in various cultures, Burckhardt developed a particular fascination with Petra, an ancient city whose whereabouts had slipped from European knowledge. In preparation for his explorations within the Ottoman Empire, Burckhardt relocated to London in 1806, where he joined the African Association, an organization committed to the exploration and mapping of Africa. He further honed his expertise at Cambridge University, studying Arabic, geography, and the cultures of the Middle East. It was here that he meticulously constructed his alter ego, Sheikh Ibrahim ibn Abdallah. This identity was not just a cover to mask his European roots and exploratory motives, it was a deep dive into cultural assimilation, allowing him safer passage and a more authentic experience in predominantly Muslim territories. Burckhardt's journey to Petra began in 1812, framed as a pilgrimage to sacrifice at the tomb of the prophet Aaron on Mount Hor, which cleverly concealed his true intent to locate and document Petra. He had pieced together clues of the lost city from discussions with local traders and vague references in ancient manuscripts. His travels from Syria to the Arabian Peninsula were fraught with challenges, from regional conflicts to the unforgiving desert landscape, yet his guise as an Islamic scholar provided him crucial cover. Upon his arrival in Petra, Burckhardt was met with the breathtaking view of the Sikh, a narrow gorge stretching over a kilometer, flanked by towering walls as high as 80 meters. This passage led him to Petra's most famous and enigmatic structure, Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury. Carved directly into the blush-colored sandstone cliffs, its facade displayed an exquisite blend of Nabatean, Greek, and Roman architectural elements. Petra's entrance, known as the Sikh, is far more than just a gateway. It's an architectural wonder in its own right. This narrow gorge, carved directly from the towering sandstone cliffs, stretches for about 1.2 kilometers and varies in width from a mere 3 to 16 meters. As you walk through, the walls, which soar to heights of over 80 meters, dramatically frame your approach, guiding you towards the heart of Petra, ending at the magnificent Al-Khazneh. Along the Sikh, you'll notice a series of ancient water channels, a testament to the Nabateans' advanced hydraulic engineering skills. They devised these systems to capture and conserve the scarce desert rainwater. The strategic narrowness of the Sikh also offered a natural defense mechanism, much like the historic pass of Thermopylae in Greece, providing a fortified barrier against potential invaders. At the end of the Sikh stands Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury, which, despite its name, was likely built as a mausoleum or temple around the 1st century CE. This iconic structure is renowned for its stunning facade, decorated with a blend of Hellenistic architectural elements and native Nabatean motifs. It features a grand portico supported by 6 Corinthian columns and is adorned with intricate bas-reliefs, including depictions of Castor and Pollux, twin brothers who were revered in mythology for their role in protection and safety. The urn perched atop the facade fueled local legends, with Bedouins believing it concealed ancient treasures, hence the name the Treasury. This blend of myth and architecture draws parallels to the ornately decorated temples of the Egyptian pharaohs, which were also rich in cultural and mythological significance. Petra's architectural landscape is a rich mosaic of influences, reflecting its historical significance as a cultural and trading hub. The city's structures blend Nabatean rock-cut artistry with classical Greek, Roman, and later Byzantine styles. This fusion is visible not just on the facades but throughout the city's layout, which includes a Roman-style colonnaded street and a theatre capable of holding over 3,000 spectators. Carved directly from the rock, Petra's theatre echoes the design of ancient Greek theatres such as Epidaurus, yet it is uniquely Nabatean in its execution, showcasing their extraordinary skill in stone carving. This architectural diversity highlights the city's role as a melting pot of various civilizations throughout history, each leaving their mark on its stones and streets. Among the monumental structures in Petra, the monastery known as Ad-Dair stands out for its architectural splendor akin to that of the Treasury, yet it occupies a more secluded and solemn location. The journey to reach the monastery is an adventure in itself, involving a challenging climb of over 800 steps carved directly into the rock, which naturally limits the number of casual tourists who visit. Originally constructed as a Nabatean temple in the 3rd century BCE, the structure was later repurposed as a Christian chapel during the Byzantine period. Its facade, adorned with a massive urn and framed by towering columns, rivals the grandeur of the Parthenon in Athens. However, the isolation of the monastery adds a layer of spiritual retreat, contrasting with the civic pride of the Parthenon. Petra's allure as a mysterious and adventurous location was catapulted into popular culture by its appearance in the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The movie features Petra's treasury as the fictional entrance to the final resting place of the Holy Grail, which not only captured the imaginations of viewers worldwide, but also significantly boosted tourism to the site. This depiction in the film perfectly aligned with the themes of discovery and exploration, underscoring how media can dramatically shape the perception and economic realities of archaeological sites. Imagine gazing down at Earth from the vastness of space and spotting a man-made structure so immense it rivals the visibility of natural landmarks.
Evidence from much earlier megalithic construction is hiding in plain view.
This feat of human engineering, akin to the iconic Great Wall of China, isn't just a testament to our ancestors' ingenuity. It's a modern marvel that can be seen from the space above.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
What is this colossal structure? Stick around and find out while we explore first the mystery behind the massive wall in China. The Great Wall of China is a profound legacy left by various dynasties that shaped its path through history. The earliest records of what would become the iconic Great Wall trace back to the Eastern Zhou dynasty, which documented attempts to fortify the northern borders against invaders. With the rise of the Qin dynasty around 221 BC, significant strides were made in wall construction under the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He initiated the unification of various regional walls, which were initially built with tamped earth and local materials, creating a consolidated defense system against northern threats. This set the foundation for the extensive expansions that would follow. As the baton passed to the Han dynasty, they took the construction of the wall a step further into Mongolia. This was primarily to protect the Silk Road, which was vital for trade and strategic movements. During this era, materials like reeds and willow branches were incorporated into the layers of earth, showcasing an innovative utilization of available resources to strengthen the fortifications.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
The adaptability and durability of these materials played a crucial role in the longevity of the wall. However, it was during the Ming dynasty post-Mongol invasions that the Great Wall saw its most definitive reconstruction. The Ming era not only reinforced the wall using stones and bricks, but also introduced sophisticated architectural features such as battlements, watchtowers, garrison stations, and troop barracks. This period is responsible for much of what is today recognized as the Great Wall, symbolizing the pinnacle of defensive architecture developed over centuries. The Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian offers a rich historical account of these developments. His writings provide invaluable insights into the construction processes, the strategic imperatives, and notably, the harsh and often brutal conditions faced by the laborers involved. This documentation highlights the immense human effort and the significant costs endured during the wall's early phases, painting a vivid picture of ancient Chinese society and its unyielding drive to protect and prosper. Continuing from the historical accounts, the 20th century marked a significant era for the Great Wall of China as systematic archaeological studies began to unravel its mysteries further. Teams from China and around the world embarked on meticulous research, unearthing a variety of artifacts and materials. These findings have been pivotal in dating different segments of the wall and shedding light on the diverse construction methods employed over the centuries. The archaeological excavations revealed that the choice of construction materials varied significantly across different regions of the wall. For instance, in the rugged northern terrains, granite was predominantly used, reflecting its local abundance and durability. Conversely, in the flatter plains, builders commonly used rammed earth. This technique involved compacting layers of earth, known locally as hangtu, which was both economical and readily available. The flexibility in material choice highlighted an adaptive construction strategy tailored to the varying geographic and resource conditions across the vast stretches of the wall. Moreover, the early segments of the Great Wall were not just simple earthworks. To enhance structural integrity and resist erosion, wooden frameworks were integrated within these earthen walls. However, in stone-rich areas, large stones were not only used as foundational bases, but also served as primary building blocks for much of the construction. Wood played a crucial role too, especially in constructing gates, towers, and for reinforcing sections of the wall, although it was more vulnerable to decay and fire. As we delve further into the advancements in construction materials and techniques used for the Great Wall, the Ming dynasty emerges as a period of significant evolution. During this era, the use of bricks and stone slabs became prevalent, enhancing the wall's durability and resistance to weather conditions. The uniform size and shape of the bricks simplified the construction process, as they were easier to handle and lay compared to the irregular stones used previously. This uniformity not only sped up construction, but also contributed to the overall structural integrity of the wall. Recognizing the massive requirement for these materials, builders strategically established kilns close to the construction sites. This was a practical solution to the logistical challenge of transporting heavy materials across vast distances. It's estimated that these kilns churned out hundreds of millions, possibly even billions of bricks throughout the dynasty, each one contributing to the grandeur of the wall.
There are unexplained issues in our past, which are presently not explained by the system that teaches us about the past.
One of the most fascinating advancements was the introduction of sticky rice mortar. This innovative material came about during the Ming dynasty, when builders began mixing a paste made from sticky rice with lime. The result was a mortar that not only held bricks together more effectively, but also offered enhanced water resistance and strength. This organic-inorganic composite was revolutionary, making the wall far more durable than many might have anticipated. Recent studies have underscored the effectiveness of this mortar, revealing its unique ability to withstand significant pressure and resist aging, which is why many sections of the wall still stand robustly today. Building the Great Wall of China was not just a monumental architectural achievement, but also a colossal human endeavor. The workforce required to construct such an extensive structure included millions of individuals over the centuries: soldiers, peasants, convicts, and even intellectuals who had fallen out of favor with those in power. These laborers were mobilized across various dynasties, each contributing to different sections and aspects of the wall's construction. The conditions these workers faced were incredibly harsh. Minimal supplies, brutal climates, and grueling physical labor were the norms. Many laborers did not survive the harsh winters, suffering from exhaustion and malnutrition. Historical records even suggest that some of the deceased were buried within the wall itself, which has led to the legend of the wall being referred to as the world's largest graveyard. Shifting our focus from the ancient architectural feats to a modern marvel of engineering, this structure known as the Bingham Canyon Mine, also known as the Kennecott Copper Mine, presents another extraordinary example of human ingenuity that can be seen from the heights of space. Located in the Oquirrh Mountains southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah, this mine has been a beacon of industrial achievement since its inception in 1906. The origins of the mine trace back to 1898, when it was first developed by Enos Andrew Wall, who formed the Boston Consolidated Mining Company. The landscape of the mine changed dramatically in 1910 when it was acquired by the Kennecott Copper Corporation, marking the beginning of large-scale operations that have continued to this day. This makes it not only one of the oldest, but also one of the most productive mines in the United States. Bingham Canyon is primarily an open-pit mine, a type of mining operation that involves digging out large open pits to access ore deposits below the surface. This method has seen several technological advancements at the mine, notably the first use of large-scale electric shovels in 1926 and the introduction of haul trucks in 1937, which revolutionized the way materials were moved within the mine. Over the years, the mine has produced more copper than any other mine in the world, totaling over 20 million tons. But copper isn't the only resource extracted here. Significant amounts of gold, silver, and molybdenum have also been produced, contributing to its status as a cornerstone of global mining. The impact of the mine extends beyond just production. The excavation has provided geologists with a detailed cross-section of the Earth's crust, offering invaluable insights into geological strata and ore deposit formations. This has been a boon for the field of economic geology, enhancing our understanding of the natural processes that shape our planet. Another intriguing aspect of the mine is its influence on aircraft navigation. The sheer size of the excavation has disturbed the local gravitational field to the extent that compass readings can become erratic for pilots flying overhead. This massive pit has literally reshaped the landscape and the magnetic field surrounding it. Speaking of size, the Bingham Canyon Mine is enormous. At its widest point, it spans about 2.5 miles and reaches depths of more than 3/4 of a mile. To put that into perspective, the pit is so large that two of the world's tallest buildings, the Burj Khalifa, could lay end to end at its base and still be dwarfed by the scale of the excavation. In the heart of Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, lies an ancient wonder that defies the sands of time, the Baalbek Temple Complex.
This is Baalbek in the Lebanon. Each of these 3 blocks weighs 900 tons.
Home to some of the largest and most mysterious stone blocks ever used in construction, these colossal remnants of the Roman Empire's grandeur weigh as much as 1,650 tons each, more than an entire fleet of blue whales. How these stones were transported and precisely set into place remains one of history's most captivating puzzles.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level.
Join us as we delve into the enigmatic world of Baalbek, where ancient engineering meets modern curiosity, challenging everything we thought we knew about human ingenuity.
A Roman site for sure, but what about this bizarre enclosure wall that surrounds it?
Nestled in the fertile Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, the ancient site of Baalbek is a testament to architectural and cultural grandeur spanning thousands of years. Known as Heliopolis during the Hellenistic period, Baalbek's journey began as a modest Phoenician town named Baalath, dedicated to the worship of Baal, a god associated with the sun and storms, pivotal to the agricultural rituals of its people. The transformation of Baalbek accelerated following its conquest by Alexander the Great in 334 BC. Under Alexander, the city absorbed Greek cultural and architectural elements, emblematic of his broader strategy to fuse Greek and local traditions across the regions he conquered. This Hellenistic influence set the stage for Baalbek's later architectural evolution under the Romans, who saw the city's strategic and religious potential.
What archaeologists say, they found they could move 900-ton blocks, but 1,000 tons was too much for them.
Roman architects and engineers embarked on an ambitious construction agenda in the 1st century BC, which saw Baalbek grow into a grand ceremonial center. The centerpiece was the Temple of Jupiter, one of the largest temples in the Roman Empire, featuring 54 massive granite columns, each standing 70 feet tall. Today, only 6 of these majestic columns remain, but they continue to dominate the landscape, offering a window into what was an architectural marvel of the ancient world. Nearby, the Temple of Bacchus stands as a testament to Roman decorative art and architectural detail, with its well-preserved carvings depicting mythological scenes and festivities. Not far from these, the Temple of Venus showcases a unique circular design, breaking from traditional Roman architectural norms and highlighting a syncretic blend of Roman and local religious practices. Baalbek's construction feats, especially the transportation and placement of massive limestone blocks, draw parallels with other ancient marvels like the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge, showcasing the Romans' advanced engineering techniques.
Look at the famous King's Chamber. Its walls and its ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic blocks.
The site was not just an architectural statement, but also a cultural hub, attracting pilgrims and spectators from across the empire to its religious festivals and games, blending Roman and local traditions in grand displays of public celebration. In comparison to other monumental Roman sites like the Pantheon in Rome, Baalbek stands out for its scale and the complexity involved in erecting such gigantic structures far from the Roman heartland. The Pantheon, with its massive dome and oculus, reflects similar ambitions in Roman architectural prowess, but in a vastly different urban setting. Both sites, however, illustrate the Roman Empire's architectural ambition and its ability to mobilize resources and technology across its vast territories. The stone blocks of Baalbek, particularly within the Temple of Jupiter complex, represent some of the most astonishing elements of ancient architecture found anywhere in the world. These massive stones serve as a testament to the extraordinary engineering prowess of their builders. Their construction techniques and capabilities continue to spark both fascination and scholarly debate. At the heart of the complex sits the Trilithon, a trio of stone blocks that form the podium of the Temple of Jupiter. Each stone measures roughly 64 feet in length, 13 feet in height, and 14 feet in width, and weighs about 800 tons. The precision with which these gigantic stones are fitted together, without any mortar, is truly remarkable. Such an engineering feat required not only advanced planning and ample resources, but also the ingenious use of simple machines like levers and inclined planes, combined with significant human and mechanical effort. Just about 900 meters from the main temple complex, in a nearby quarry, lies the Stone of the Pregnant Woman.
The quarry contains a number of very large blocks that were never transported.
This monolith, approximately 69 feet long and weighing around 1,000 tons, has never been moved from where it was originally cut. The stone's name comes from a local legend suggesting that touching the stone can ensure a safe and easy delivery for pregnant women, highlighting the cultural and superstitious significance these ancient stones hold within local folklore. In 2014, an even larger stone was unearthed in the same quarry.
Why only recently excavated? Because the whole site was covered in sedimentation.
At 64 feet in length and estimated to weigh about 1,650 tons, it stands as the largest known stone ever carved by human hands. This discovery significantly expanded our understanding of the capabilities of ancient engineers and their technological advancements. Comparing these megalithic stones to other ancient wonders provides further context to their impressive nature. For instance, while Stonehenge in England is renowned for its circular arrangement of standing stones, the largest of these stones weighs merely about 30 tons, far less than the massive blocks of Baalbek. The construction of Stonehenge involved transporting stones over long distances, presenting a different type of logistical challenge and ingenuity. However, the sheer scale and weight of the Baalbek stones showcase an unparalleled architectural ambition in the ancient world. Similarly, when we consider the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, the limestone blocks typically weigh between 2 to 15 tons, with the largest granite stones in the King's Chamber weighing between 25 to 80 tons.
Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do, but when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all.
The stones of Baalbek far exceed these in size, highlighting the unique challenges and skills required for their transport and placement. Unlike the primarily tomb-like structures of the Giza pyramids, Baalbek's temples served ceremonial and religious functions, indicating diverse uses of massive stones across ancient civilizations. This comparison not only illustrates the monumental scale of Baalbek's construction, but also underscores the diverse architectural and cultural expressions of ancient societies. The Baalbek temple complex, with its colossal stone blocks, stands as one of the greatest engineering achievements of the ancient world. The tasks involved in constructing this monumental site weren't just about brute strength. They required meticulous planning, advanced organizational skills, and a deep understanding of physics and engineering principles. These elements combined challenge our modern perceptions of ancient technology and showcase the ingenuity of our ancestors. The architectural grandeur of Baalbek was no accident. It reflected the Roman Empire's immense ambition and its desire to display power and divine favor. The sheer scale of the temples served multiple purposes, both religious and political, reinforcing the might of Rome and the sanctity of the location. This complex was designed to awe and affirm the presence of Roman authority in the region. The transportation of the massive stones is believed to have been primarily conducted using rollers made from large tree trunks, with the stones themselves placed on sledges. These sledges, acting as platforms, helped distribute the weight of the stones and prevented the rollers from sinking into the ground. Historical texts even mention the use of olive oil as a lubricant on the paths, a technique that significantly reduced friction, making it easier to move these enormous weights over considerable distances. The placement of these giant stones remains a subject of debate among historians. Techniques such as the use of wooden cranes, which were similar to those used in medieval constructions, likely played a role. These cranes, utilizing ropes, pulleys, and possibly treadwheels, would have amplified the force exerted by humans or animals. Another plausible technique involved constructing large earth ramps, which would have provided a gradual incline to drag the stones into their precise positions. Lever systems, employing long wooden beams to lift and position stones, might have also been used, requiring less material than ramps, but a greater understanding of leverage mechanics. Drawing parallels, the construction techniques theorized for Baalbek closely resemble those hypothesized for the building of the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Pyramid of Giza. Like Baalbek, the transportation of the pyramid stones likely involved sledges and possibly rollers, with the use of water as a lubricant depicted in ancient Egyptian wall paintings. For lifting, the Egyptians are believed to have utilized a combination of ramps and lever systems. Constructed over a millennium before Baalbek, the pyramids highlight a continuity in complex engineering techniques that span cultures and ages, underscoring a shared architectural heritage in the ancient world. This shared legacy speaks volumes about the ingenuity embedded in ancient construction practices, linking disparate cultures through their monumental achievements. Imagine standing before a vast network of subterranean caverns, extending thousands of square meters deep into the earth, carved from the unique volcanic tuff known as Oya stone. When these caverns at the Oya stone quarry in Utsunomiya were first created, it seemed nearly impossible for humans of that era to shape such an immense and complex structure, yet somehow they did, with nothing more than rudimentary tools and sheer human effort.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Did this really happen? Or was there more at play here than meets the eye? Fast forward to today, and despite our advanced technology and engineering prowess, replicating such a feat remains a formidable challenge. This marvel of both natural formation and human endeavor invites us to explore its depths, uncovering the secrets held within its echoing chambers and imposing walls.
I think we're confronted by an enormous mystery with megalithic sites all around the world, and we don't understand them properly.
The Oya stone quarry, with its deep historical roots in Japan's architectural landscape, offers a fascinating glimpse into the evolution from localized resource extraction to significant industrial use. The exact discovery date of the quarry isn't well documented, but evidence suggests that small-scale extraction of Oya stone began around the Heian period.
I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
It quickly became popular for its unique properties, particularly its ease of carving when freshly quarried, which made it ideal for constructing religious structures like temples and shrines, as well as for creating detailed statues for these sites. As we move into the Edo period, the role of Oya stone expanded dramatically. This was a time of relative peace under the Tokugawa shogunate, marked by urbanization and the burgeoning need for more durable building materials. Oya stone, known for its enhanced fire resistance, became a critical resource in constructing robust, fire-resistant walls, particularly in Edo, modern-day Tokyo, which was prone to frequent fires.
Wildfires are what you expect when you have a bit of a comet air bursting up above you.
The quarry's activities intensified with technological advancements in mining, such as the introduction of better chiseling tools and more systematic methods for removing large stone blocks. The expansion of cities during this period necessitated large quantities of durable materials, and Oya stone was extensively used not just for building walls, but also for bridges and other infrastructure projects that required materials that could withstand both the elements and the threat of fire. As demand surged, the shogunate implemented stricter regulations to manage the quarry operations effectively, ensuring the extraction rates were sustainable and that the stone remained available for future generations. When we compare Oya stone with European limestone, which was used for similar purposes, we notice both materials share the property of hardening over time, which is ideal for constructions meant to endure. However, while limestone in Europe was often chosen for both its practical and aesthetic qualities, Oya stone's use in Japan was deeply intertwined with the country's cultural and religious practices, reflecting a unique blend of utilitarian and spiritual values. This distinction highlights not only the functional importance of Oya stone, but also its role in shaping the cultural heritage of Japan. The Oya stone quarry is celebrated for its production of Oya stone, a unique type of green, tough volcanic rock. Known for its distinctive qualities, this stone has been a cornerstone in Japanese architecture and art for centuries. Let's dive deep into its rich historical tapestry and uncover some fascinating details along with a compelling theory. Tracing back to around 800 AD during the early Heian period, the operations at the Oya stone quarry began in an era marked by the consolidation of power in the Japanese imperial court and a cultural boom influenced heavily by the Chinese Tang dynasty aesthetics. Initially, Oya stone was primarily used for constructing the foundations and lower structures of buildings in local villages, largely because of its accessibility and the ease with which it could be carved when freshly quarried. What makes Oya stone particularly intriguing is its unique physical property. It is relatively soft when first quarried, but hardens upon exposure to air. This feature allowed ancient builders to initially carve it with ease, and as it hardened, it would transform into a durable structural element. Not only did its warm beige to light grey hues and porous texture enhance the natural aesthetics of traditional Japanese buildings, but it also provided excellent insulation properties. As the Heian period progressed, the cultural center of Japan shifted to Kyoto, increasing the architectural demand for Oya stone, possibly spurred by its fire-resistant properties, an essential feature in an era prone to wooden structure fires. By the late Heian period, the stone's reach extended beyond local regions, finding its way into more significant and prestigious construction projects across Japan, such as temples, shrines, and statues.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
Ancient texts often highlight its use in substantial state-sponsored construction projects, suggesting a growing importance in the architectural landscape of the time. The rising demand for Oya stone led to a significant expansion of the quarry operations. Quarrying techniques evolved from simple manual methods to more organized mining activities involving larger labor forces. This expansion not only catered to the increasing architectural demands, but also became a focal point for local economic development, providing numerous jobs and contributing to the growth of surrounding communities. An intriguing theory about the Oya stone quarry is that it was discovered and initially developed under the auspices of the imperial family of Japan. This theory suggests that the imperial family might have used the quarry to demonstrate their divine right to rule by constructing temples and palaces with this unique stone.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization.
The frequent use of Oya stone in imperial and noble projects during the Heian period supports this theory. The distinctiveness of the stone and the grandeur it imparted to buildings would have symbolized the celestial and exalted status of the emperor, aligning perfectly with the imperial ambitions of the time. This fascinating hypothesis adds an additional layer of historical and cultural significance to the already rich narrative of the Oya stone quarry. Nestled in Utsunomiya, Tochigi Prefecture, the Oya stone quarry offers more than just a peek into the world of mining. It presents a fascinating interplay of geology, history, and acoustics. Let's delve into the intriguing details of its underground caverns, their extensive history, and unique characteristics. Spanning an impressive 20,000 square meters, these caverns form a vast subterranean network that has been shaped over centuries. In some areas, they plunge as deep as 60 meters, equivalent to a 20-story building. This vast and varied landscape not only offers a glimpse into the Earth's depths, but also tells the tale of its past through the very walls that form it. Etched with the marks of pickaxes and chisels, the cavern walls narrate the history of mining techniques that evolved through the ages. Occasionally, miners have left behind tools and artifacts, which have been preserved and are now part of the quarry's historical tapestry. The caverns also display an array of natural and man-made formations, from varied color strains and vein patterns to different mineral compositions, each adding a layer to the story of the region's geological history. Beyond their historical and visual appeal, these caverns are known for their exceptional acoustic properties. The porosity and density of the Oya stone allow for sound to be absorbed and dampened, creating an environment with minimal echo and clear sound quality. Drawing a comparison to the ancient underground cities of Cappadocia in Turkey, both carved directly into volcanic rock, highlights interesting contrasts. While Oya's caverns were primarily used industrially for mining, Cappadocia's were designed for habitation and protection, equipped with living quarters, churches, and even ventilation shafts. An intriguing theory about the Oya stone quarry suggests that its extensive network and depth could have offered strategic military advantages during historical conflicts. The caverns, with their complexity and depth, might have served as excellent hiding spots or secret passages, a theory supported by Japan's historical use of landscape features in military strategy. Moreover, the Oya stone quarry has caught the eye of the film and television industry due to its dramatic and otherworldly ambience. For instance, Martin Scorsese's Silence used the haunting backdrop of the caverns to portray the rugged landscapes of 17th century Japan, enhancing the grim atmosphere of the story. While not actually filmed at the quarry, the scenes within the fortress-like environments of Inception evoke a similar monumental scale and maze-like interiors that one can associate with the Oya stone quarry's vast network. Beneath the sands of modern-day Sudan and southern Egypt lies the story of a civilization whose architectural prowess rivaled that of the ancient Egyptians, the Nubians.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
Known for constructing more pyramids than their northern neighbors, The Nubians created a kingdom of extraordinary wealth, culture, and power. But as the tides of history shifted, their grand structures were gradually reclaimed by the desert, and their story obscured by the sands of time.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Where did this great civilization go? And what secrets do their ancient cities and towering pyramids still hold? The Nubian civilization, nestled along the Nile River in what is now Sudan and southern Egypt, stands as one of Africa's oldest and most fascinating civilizations.
A great civilization that had been destroyed and that had left some survivors who had come to Egypt.
With a history that stretches back to the Neolithic period, Nubia is celebrated for its complex social structure, advanced architectural prowess, and dynamic interactions with ancient Egypt. The story of Nubia's exploration and its archaeological significance unfolds with intriguing depth, particularly when considering its ties to Egypt. During the 19th century, as European powers expanded their reach across Africa, scholars and archaeologists often accompanied colonial expeditions, initially focusing on the pharaonic marvels of Egypt due to their spectacular allure and global fascination. However, these explorers soon ventured into modern-day Sudan, where they uncovered the rich heritage of Nubia.
Yes, there's been some archaeology in the Sahara Desert, but not very much.
Richard Lepsius, a pioneering German Egyptologist, was one of the first to document Nubian antiquities extensively during his Prussian expedition from 1842 to 1845. His meticulous records and sketches provided a detailed overview of Nubian archaeological wealth, charting numerous sites including temples, tombs, and entire settlements previously unknown to the broader scholarly community. Yet these early explorations were not without their challenges. Adventurers faced harsh climates and political instability, and their initial perceptions of Nubia were often clouded by colonial biases, frequently underestimating the sophistication of the Nubian civilization in comparison to their northern neighbors, the Egyptians. Nubia's relationship with Egypt was marked by periods of both conflict and cooperation, with Nubian kings at times dominating Egypt, especially during the 25th dynasty, also known as the Nubian dynasty. This era is crucial for understanding the significant influence Nubians had on Egyptian politics, culture, and religion. Pharaoh Taharqa, a notable ruler of this dynasty, oversaw an era of considerable architectural and cultural achievements, with extensive building projects in both Egypt and Nubia. His contributions in Thebes and Karnak, showcasing a blend of Egyptian and Nubian artistic styles, are particularly well documented. The rediscovery of the Nubian dynasty has been pivotal, highlighting the Nubians not just as conquerors but as integrators who significantly enhanced the Egyptian state's infrastructure and cultural life. Turning our gaze to a broader horizon, comparing Nubia and Mesopotamia offers fascinating parallels. Both civilizations flourished around mighty rivers, the Nile for Nubia and the Tigris-Euphrates for Mesopotamia, providing the fertile ground that supported dense populations and the development of complex societies. Just as Nubia interacted with Egypt, Mesopotamia had dynamic relationships with its neighbors, engaging in both cultural exchanges and military conflicts. Architecturally, while Nubia is renowned for its pyramids and monumental temples, Mesopotamia is credited with the development of ziggurats and the pioneering use of brick as a primary building material. Both regions also developed their writing systems, with cuneiform in Mesopotamia and Meroitic scripts in Nubia, which were vital for administrative, religious, and cultural expressions, remaining crucial for archaeologists and historians in understanding these ancient societies.
If you wish to pass information to a distant future, you wouldn't be smart to just write it down. How can we know that our script is going to be readable by any other culture, let's say 10,000 years in the future?
George Reisner's pioneering archaeological work in Nubia at the beginning of the 20th century has dramatically enhanced our understanding of the ancient kingdom of Kush, shedding light on a civilization that was at various times a rival and a partner to ancient Egypt. As a professor at Harvard University, Reisner was dispatched by the Harvard University Museum of Fine Arts Boston expedition to delve into the historical mysteries of Egypt and Nubia. His investigations in Nubia were among the first to apply scientific archaeological methods in the region, establishing new standards for documenting the excavation process that would influence future archaeological endeavors. One of Reisner's most groundbreaking efforts was his excavation of Kerma, which he identified as a key cultural and political hub of the Kingdom of Kush. This discovery was particularly significant as Kerma's importance had previously been overshadowed by more well-known Egyptian sites. At Kerma, the most striking find was the Defufa, a towering mud brick structure that remains one of the largest and oldest of its kind in the world. Reisner suggested that the Defufa served a religious and possibly administrative function, a topic that continues to spark debate among scholars regarding its specific role. Further excavations at the royal cemeteries in Kerma unearthed a wealth of information about the burial customs of the Kushite elite. The tombs revealed a rich array of grave goods, including pottery, gold, and bronze artifacts, which spoke of a highly sophisticated culture with expansive trade networks. Additionally, evidence of human sacrifices at these sites suggested that the Kushites engaged in complex funerary rituals, underscoring the depth of their religious beliefs. The layout of Kerma, as uncovered by Reisner, indicated a highly organized urban center, complete with residential areas, production centers, and extensive fortifications. This insight provided a new perspective on the urban planning and architectural sophistication of the Kushite civilization, challenging the then prevailing notion that Nubian culture was perpetually subordinate to that of ancient Egypt. Instead, Reisner's findings highlighted the distinctiveness of the Nubian civilization and its ability to influence and control vast territories, including parts of Egypt at various times. Reisner's systematic approach to excavation and his rigorous documentation practices set new benchmarks in the field of archaeology. He was a pioneer in using stratigraphy for dating purposes, which allowed for a more accurate understanding of the chronological sequence of the sites he excavated. The legacy of his work continues to serve as a foundational resource for subsequent research on Nubia, inspiring generations of archaeologists to further explore the complexities of Nubian history and its interconnections with other ancient civilizations. As we continue to unravel the intricacies of this ancient society, Reisner's contributions remain invaluable, providing a robust framework for understanding not only Nubia's past, but also the broader narratives of ancient world histories. The rediscovery of Nubian pyramids and the archaeological efforts to save Nubian heritage in the wake of the Aswan High Dam's construction have provided profound insights into this ancient civilization.
Archaeology is often driven by accidental finds. Maybe a road is going to be built, maybe a railway is going to be built. A lot of archaeological discoveries are made as a result of that.
Nubian pyramids offer a stark contrast to their Egyptian counterparts. These structures are characterized by their steep and narrow sides and much smaller bases, ranging from approximately 6 to 30 meters across, unlike Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza, which spans over 230 meters at its base. Constructed with stepped courses of horizontally laid stone blocks, Nubian pyramids typically feature a small chapel at the base facing east, housing offerings and a stele with inscriptions about the deceased. The burial practices within these pyramids reveal a lot about the Nubians. These pyramids were not just final resting places, but also a testament to the wealth and power of the Kushite royalty and elites, reflecting a hierarchy and religious practices influenced by, yet distinct from, Egyptian traditions. Moreover, the art and hieroglyphic inscriptions on the walls of these pyramids offer critical insights into the religious beliefs and daily life of the Kushites, often including prayers and spells similar to those found in Egyptian texts, but adapted to local contexts and deities, highlighting the syncretic nature of Nubian religion. Continuing on the theme of comparisons, looking at Nubian and Mayan pyramids side by side offers fascinating insights. Both civilizations built pyramids, yet their purposes and designs reflect different cultural priorities and environmental conditions. Nubian pyramids, primarily serving as tombs for royalty, featured steep sides and narrow bases and were constructed of stone. In contrast, Mayan pyramids, often broader and less steep, served primarily religious purposes, hosting rituals and sacrifices at their summits, often accessible via a series of steps. In the rugged landscapes of southwestern Turkey, the Lycian civilization remains one of history's mysterious marvels, famed for its breathtaking stone-carved tombs and complex societal structures.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
But how did this ancient culture achieve such architectural feats, intricately carving entire complexes directly into sheer cliffs? As we delve into the ruins of Xanthos, Tlos, and Mycenae, we uncover not only the technical prowess, but also the profound myths that propelled Lycia beyond mere survival, embedding it deeply in the tapestry of human heritage.
Again, unfortunately, archaeologists largely sneer at myth. But I think the myths of the world, those that have survived, are the Hall of Records of the lost past.
Nestled along the rugged southwestern coast of Turkey, Lycia is a region framed by mountainous terrain, dense forests, and steep cliffs, which not only made it difficult to access, but also helped preserve its rich and distinct identity. This isolation meant that Lycia developed somewhat independently of its neighbors, cultivating a unique historical footprint that remained largely untouched until European explorers stumbled upon it. The first accounts of Lycia's mysterious ruins surfaced during the 18th century, when travelers like the French explorer Charles Texier and the English archaeologist Richard Pocock documented the extensive ruins, rock-cut tombs, and grand sarcophagi that dotted the landscape. Their writings sparked a wave of curiosity and set the stage for more focused explorations.
If you wish to pass information to a distant future, you wouldn't be smart to just write it down. How can we know that our script is going to be readable by any other culture, let's say 10,000 years in the future?
One of the pivotal figures in Lycian studies was Charles Fellows, an English archaeologist whose expedition in 1838 marked a turning point in uncovering the past of this enigmatic civilization. Driven by fascinating tales of remarkable ruins, Fellows undertook a systematic exploration of the region, meticulously mapping the area and documenting numerous sites. His work wasn't just about identifying locations, he detailed everything from the friezes and tombs to the fortresses he encountered, providing a comprehensive look at the remnants of Lycian society. This thorough documentation played a crucial role in introducing Lycian civilization to the broader academic world and eventually led to the first official archaeological excavations under the auspices of the British government.
The second issue with ruling out completely the possibility of a lost civilization is that archaeology sets itself up as the sole arbiter as to what is and what is not evidence.
Through Fellows' dedicated efforts, the wonders of Lycia were brought into the limelight, revealing a civilization that had mastered the art of building in harmony with its challenging landscape. During his explorations, Charles Fellows unearthed several significant sites that continue to shed light on the ancient civilization of Lycia. Xanthos, the once flourishing capital, stands as a monumental testament to Lycian culture, blending funerary architecture that tells tales of a society rich in traditions and artistic expression. Among its most notable structures is the Nemrut monument, an elaborate tomb from around 400 BC, named after the sea nymphs that adorn its friezes. The detailed bas-reliefs depicting humans and gods illustrate a cosmopolitan blend of Lycian and Hellenistic styles, making Xanthos a treasure trove for historians and archaeologists alike. The site also boasts ruins of an acropolis, several Byzantine churches, and unique pillar tombs, offering a vivid glimpse into the past.
There are unexplained issues in our past, which are presently not explained by the system that teaches us about the past.
Moving on to Tlos, this city is another jewel in Lycia's archaeological crown, famed for its extensive tombs and a well-preserved acropolis. Perched on a rocky outcrop, the acropolis provided strategic views and served as a formidable fortress through various epochs, including Lycian, Roman, and Ottoman times. One of the city's most captivating tales revolves around the legendary hero Bellerophon, who, according to myth, tamed the winged horse Pegasus. His supposed tomb, marked by a striking relief of this mythical scene, highlights the fascinating intermingling of myth and mortuary traditions in Lycian culture. Tlos also featured a plethora of architectural wonders like an ancient theatre, Roman baths, and a stadium, underscoring its significance as a cultural and administrative hub. Further exploring the region, Mycenae, though less documented than Xanthos and Tlos, is critically important for understanding Lycian burial customs. The intricately carved tombs here are not just architectural feats, but also serve as a canvas for rich narrative reliefs and inscriptions in the Lycian language. These inscriptions are invaluable, providing insights into the social structures, laws, and daily life of the Lycian people, and offering a profound perspective on their linguistic and cultural landscape. Each of these sites, discovered or studied extensively by Fellows, continues to offer invaluable insights into the ancient world, revealing the complexity and richness of Lycian society. When exploring the ancient burial practices of the Lycians in sites such as Xanthos, Tlos, and Mycenae, a fascinating contrast emerges with Egypt's Valley of the Kings. Both regions are renowned for their elaborate tombs designed to honor the deceased, yet they embody profoundly different architectural styles and cultural philosophies. The Valley of the Kings, with its subterranean tombs, was crafted to prepare for the afterlife and separate the dead from the living, reflecting a focus on the otherworldly.
The Book of What is in the Duat, which you will find painted on the walls of many of the tombs in the Valley of the Kings.
In stark contrast, Lycian tombs are monumental and highly visible within the landscape, signifying a different approach to death and remembrance where the dead remain a part of the community's everyday life, visible and integrated within their environment. The pivotal explorations by Charles Fellows not only brought these Lycian sites to the broader attention of the world, but also secured crucial interest and funding from institutions like the British Museum. His initial expeditions in the 1840s, sanctioned by the British government, eventually led to the transportation of significant artifacts, including pieces from the Nereid monument back to England. These artifacts would later become central exhibits at the British Museum, sparking debates about cultural heritage and the ethics of artifact repatriation. Fellows detailed his adventures and findings in An Account of Discoveries in Lycia, a publication that not only catalogued his discoveries, but also offered insights into the potential connections between the Lycian script and the early Greek alphabet. This hinted at a rich cultural interchange between the Lycians and their Greek neighbors, providing a deeper understanding of their interactions. The discoveries in Lycia filled significant gaps in our understanding of the Eastern Mediterranean's historical dynamics during antiquity, revealing a civilization that, while under the influence of Greek and Persian empires, forged a unique identity that integrated these influences into a distinct cultural and political framework. The architectural legacy of Lycia offers a fascinating glimpse into the region's unique identity and historical interactions. Among the most striking features of this heritage are the Lycian funerary monuments, particularly the rock-cut tombs that blend local and external influences beautifully. These tombs, intricately carved directly into the limestone cliffs of Lycia, often take the form of small temples or mimic traditional Lycian wooden houses, complete with detailed pediments, columns, and reliefs. The styles reflect both Greek and Persian influences, yet they maintain distinctive Lycian characteristics, portraying a society that was receptive to external ideas while fiercely preserving its independence. The house-type tombs, for instance, replicate the facades of Lycian wooden homes, featuring pseudo-beams and gabled roofs that echo the domestic architecture of the era. On the grander side, temple-type tombs imitate Greek temples with their intricate Ionic or Doric columns and richly decorated friezes, illustrating the cultural exchange between the Lycians and the Greeks. A prime example of this architectural marvel is the tomb of Amyntas in modern-day Phthia, dating back to the 4th century BC. This tomb stands out for its grand scale and detailed design, resembling a temple facade with 2 Ionic columns supporting a large pediment. The pediment and the tomb's inner chamber showcase the exquisite Lycian craftsmanship, adept at manipulating the region's limestone. An inscription in Lycian script above the doorway, identifying the tomb as the resting place of Amyntas, son of Hermagios, provides valuable insights into the personal identities and social structures of ancient Lycia. An interesting parallel can be drawn between the rock-cut tombs of Lycia and the renowned Nabatean city of Petra in Jordan. Both civilizations crafted elaborate structures into sheer rock faces, primarily for use as tombs or religious sites. While Petra is famous for its monumental scale and blend of Eastern and Hellenistic architectural styles, Lycian tombs are typically more modest in scale, but equally intricate in detail. Unlike Petra's tombs, which are part of a broader urban landscape, Lycian tombs are often standalone monuments set in remote cliff faces. As excavations in the region continue, archaeologists are moving beyond these iconic tombs to uncover urban centers, religious sanctuaries, and domestic structures, painting a fuller picture of daily life in ancient Lycia. Concurrently, there are ongoing efforts to preserve these deteriorating stone monuments, which are vulnerable to environmental and human-induced damage. The continued study of Lycia is reshaping historical narratives about the interactions between the Greek and Persian worlds, particularly through its unique blend of art and political structures, showing how Lycian culture managed to bridge east and west while maintaining a distinct identity. Nestled near Nanjing, the Shan Quarry stands as a monument to human ambition and ancient mystery. Here, amidst the dust and echoes of history, lies the colossal, unfinished stele, intended to honor a Ming dynasty emperor. Why would humans embark on such a grand project, knowing the immense challenge of moving it, and then mysteriously abandon it?
If you wish to pass information to a distant future, if you wish it to be preserved, you wouldn't be smart to just write it down.
This mystery not only captivates the imagination, but also invites us to explore the profound complexities of engineering, royal ambition, and perhaps the supernatural influences that shape our endeavors. The Shan Quarry is an archaeological site of great historical importance, mainly due to its ambitious yet unfinished project initiated by the Yongle Emperor. This project aimed to create a colossal stele to commemorate his father, the Hongwu Emperor, the founder of the Ming dynasty.
I think their project was to honor and memorialize it. Is knowledge preserved and passed down through the ages? Yes, I think it is.
The Yongle Emperor, who reigned from 1402 to 1424, is celebrated for his significant architectural and cultural achievements, which included not only the construction of the Forbidden City, but also this immense stele project. This act was intended not merely as a show of familial respect, but also to legitimize his rule and link his achievements to those of the dynasty's founder, thus enhancing the continuity and legitimacy of his own reign. The construction of such a monument also served as a display of imperial power and the advanced capabilities of Ming dynasty engineering.
That is one of the mistakes in looking for a quote-unquote advanced civilization in the past, is that we tend to be looking for ourselves.
From an architectural standpoint, the primary goal of the Shan Quarry was to extract stone of an unprecedented size and scale. The stele for the Hongwu Emperor was to be the largest of its kind ever created, a symbol of the immense power and enduring legacy of the Ming dynasty. This ambitious project required vast resources and a workforce capable of overcoming the logistical challenges posed by the stone's enormous dimensions. In imperial China, erecting steles was a deeply cultural act, often associated with honoring divine or royal entities. The project commissioned by the Yongle Emperor linked him with the divine mandate, ascribing almost celestial reverence to his ancestors and himself, thus reinforcing his rule as divinely sanctioned. The design and craftsmanship of the stele were planned to be magnificent. The project was to be composed of 3 grand pieces. The base, intended to support the enormous weight of the stele and act as both a physical and symbolic foundation. The body, which was to be intricately engraved with inscriptions praising the Hongwu Emperor and detailing his accomplishments and virtues. And the crown, planned to be elaborately decorated with dragon motifs or other imperial symbols, signifying the celestial authority of the emperor. The dimensions of the stele were also staggering. The body of the stele itself was planned to exceed 30 meters in length, 13 meters wide and 10 meters thick. Weighing approximately 16,250 metric tons, this stone would have been one of the largest ever carved by human hands, comparable in weight to about 2,500 adult African elephants. To appreciate the scale further, the length of the stele's body was almost as long as the wingspan of a Boeing 747 airplane, underscoring not only its immense size, but also the bold engineering ambitions of the Ming dynasty, mirroring the monumental constructions of other ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Romans.
But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy.
The ambitious project at Shan Quarry, designed to immortalize the Yongle Emperor's father, faced insurmountable challenges after the emperor's death. The primary issue was the logistical nightmare of transporting the immense stone 10 kilometers to the Ming Shaoling Mausoleum. Despite having a large labor force and advanced engineering techniques of the era, the task proved beyond the capabilities of the period's transportation technologies, leading to the project's abandonment. In the course of studying the quarry, archaeologists have unearthed a diverse arsenal of traditional tools that were used to work these massive stones. Chisels, hammers, and levers crafted from iron were employed in a meticulously organized manner to extract and precisely shape the gargantuan stones. The innovative methods employed by the workers were particularly ingenious. One such method, known as fire setting, involved heating the rock surface with fire and then dousing it with cold water. This sudden temperature change caused the rock to undergo thermal shock, resulting in cracks that made it easier to shape and remove the stone. The layout of the Yangshan quarry also provides insights into the organization of labor and resources during that time. Large teams of workers were coordinated in a highly structured approach, possibly under the direct supervision of imperial engineers. This meticulous organization was essential for executing such a monumental project, demonstrating the sophisticated management practices of the Ming dynasty in handling large-scale constructions. This coordination not only facilitated the quarrying process but also ensured that each phase of the work was completed as efficiently as possible, despite the eventual abandonment of the project due to logistical challenges. While the organizational prowess at Yangshan Quarry was impressive, the technological innovations possibly used there truly showcased the brilliance of ancient Chinese engineering. The enormous stones at the quarry, some of the largest ever quarried in human history, display a level of precision in cutting and shaping that suggests the use of extremely advanced techniques. Historians and archaeologists have long speculated that the ancient Chinese engineers might have utilized now-lost techniques that facilitated their monumental tasks. These could have included specialized cutting tools, measurement systems for exact angles and flat surfaces, and unique methods for splitting stone from rock beds without causing it to crack entirely. The precision with which these stones were quarried and shaped suggests a sophisticated integration of various fields of knowledge, including geometry, physics, and materials science, indicating a highly developed technological culture.
I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures.
Drawing parallels with Roman engineering, we see that Roman engineers also revolutionized construction with the development of hydraulic cement and the extensive use of arches, vaults, and domes, which allowed them to build enduring structures like the Pantheon and the aqueducts. They were masters at utilizing available resources and adapting their engineering solutions to the diverse conditions of their vast empire. Similarly, the engineers at Yangshan may have developed their own unique methods to manage the quarrying of such massive stones. This might have involved the use of intricate lever systems designed to maximize mechanical advantage, or even early forms of cranes which could have been powered by large human teams or possibly by animals. Both civilizations demonstrated an understanding of leverage and load distribution. For instance, Roman cranes and capstans were used for lifting heavy weights, while similar principles could have been applied in Yangshan for moving large stone blocks. Additional techniques hypothesized to be used at Yangshan include the strategic use of water to aid in the transport of these massive stones. By creating a series of canals and using buoyancy, the engineers could have significantly reduced the effective weight of the stones, making them easier to maneuver over large distances. Seasonal adjustments might also have played a role in the timing of the quarry work. Engineers might have taken advantage of frozen ground during the winter to move heavy stones more easily, a technique evidenced in other historical contexts such as the transport of large stones for the construction of medieval cathedrals in Europe. Moreover, the durability and flexibility of bamboo, widely available in China, would have made it particularly useful for creating temporary frameworks and scaffolding, demonstrating the ingenious solutions employed to tackle the challenges of such a monumental project. While exploring the technological aspects of the Yangshan Quarry project is fascinating, the supernatural narratives surrounding its abandonment offer an equally intriguing dimension. In traditional Chinese culture, the spiritual world is deeply intertwined with the physical realm, and many construction projects from ancient times are wrapped in tales of omens and divine messages. Local legends from Yangshan suggest that the massive Stele project was halted by supernatural forces. These stories recount strange and ominous signs that appeared during the quarrying process, which local workers and officials interpreted as warnings from the heavens. These warnings supposedly dissuaded them from continuing the project for fear of invoking disaster or bad luck. Such tales might be more than mere superstitions. They could represent symbolic expressions of the workers' fears and the practical difficulties they faced, projected onto supernatural explanations. Korea, a land steeped in history and shrouded in mystery, holds a secret that has baffled archaeologists and historians for centuries. Scattered across its rugged landscape are thousands of megalithic structures known as dolmens, silent sentinels from a forgotten era? Were these massive stone structures merely tombs for the elite, as some scholars suggest? Or do they whisper of a time when giants roamed the earth, leaving their colossal mark on the very stones themselves? Let's explore the mysterious world of Korean dolmens, where myth and reality intertwine, and uncover the truth behind these ancient wonders.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
The Korean dolmens, mysterious and monumental, have always held a place of reverence within local folklore. Ancient populations in Korea viewed these structures not only as significant landmarks, but also as sacred sites possibly built by giants or legendary heroes, as hinted in ancient myths. This deep-seated cultural recognition has meant that the discovery of dolmens by Koreans themselves is not documented as such. It is woven into the fabric of their history and mythology.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization, of prehistory.
Systematic documentation of these megalithic structures began during a tumultuous period in Korea's history, the Japanese occupation from 1910 to 1945. During this time, Japanese archaeologists, including notable researchers like Sekino Tadashi, embarked on the first formal studies of the dolmens. Their aim was part of a larger effort to catalogue and understand the peninsula's prehistoric landscape, which inadvertently involved imposing control over Korea's cultural heritage. These early 20th century surveys marked the first time the dolmens were mapped and described in detail, shifting their perception from elements of folklore to subjects of archaeological and historical importance. Post the Korean War, as South Korea focused on rebuilding its national identity, there was a resurgence of interest in preserving the country's rich cultural heritage. This renewed interest paved the way for more localized and intensive studies of the dolmens. By the late 20th century, Korean archaeologists had started employing modern techniques such as radiocarbon dating, detailed site excavations, and even advanced technologies like 3D scanning and GIS systems. These tools allowed for a more precise understanding of the dolmen's age, construction methods, and their original use, enriching the appreciation of these ancient structures.
This is not something that everybody knows. Carbon dating can only date organic material. It can't date stone.
The turn of the millennium brought international recognition to this fascinating aspect of Korean heritage when several dolmen sites were designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This prestigious status underscores the significant archaeological value of the dolmens and highlights their importance in understanding the prehistoric era on the Korean peninsula.
Our understanding of prehistory must change.
This recognition not only boosts preservation efforts but also fosters global appreciation for Korea's ancient monumental wonders. Building on the historical significance of the Korean dolmens, let's delve into the remarkable engineering skills that these ancient societies showcased through their construction. The transportation and assembly of these massive stone structures present a fascinating study of prehistoric engineering. The stones used in the construction of dolmens were often colossal, sometimes weighing several tons. Moving such heavy stones over long distances was a formidable challenge that required ingenious solutions. It is believed that the ancient builders used logs as rollers under the stones, a technique known as log rolling. This method significantly reduced friction, enabling human or animal power to transport these massive stones efficiently. This technique bears a striking resemblance to those used for constructing Stonehenge in England and the Moai statues of Easter Island, where similar log-based systems were employed to maneuver large stones across rugged terrains. Upon reaching the construction site, the next hurdle was lifting and positioning these heavy stones accurately. Earth ramps made from piled soil and stones likely facilitated the elevation of these stones to their desired height. Alongside these ramps, levers and simple wooden frameworks would have been used to hoist the stones into position. The use of levers provided a mechanical advantage that allowed smaller groups to perform these monumental tasks, showcasing not only technical knowledge but also effective teamwork and resource management. The choice of stone was crucial for ensuring the durability and structural integrity of the dolmens. Granite, commonly used in these structures, was favored for its hardness and resistance to weathering, which speaks volumes about the ancient builders' understanding of material properties. The quarrying of these stones was a meticulous process that involved using harder stone tools, possibly made from basalt or even metal tools in later periods. The labor-intensive chipping away at rock beds to extract usable blocks required precision and planning. After quarrying, the stones were carefully shaped and smoothed to ensure a perfect fit in the construction. This involved not only large-scale shaping to create flat surfaces for the capstones, but also more detailed, finer work to guarantee the structural stability of the dolmen. The final smoothing of the stones might have been achieved through abrasion techniques, using sand or smaller stones to grind down the stone surfaces, ensuring that each piece would fit together seamlessly in the final structure. The strategic placement and precise alignment of these structures highlight a sophisticated knowledge of astronomy and engineering.
We think it makes more sense, take the geology, take the astronomy. This monument has its origins 12,000 years ago.
The dolmens were not simply erected in random locations, but were carefully placed to align with specific astronomical events, such as the solstices. This alignment suggests that the dolmens served dual purposes, not only as tombs but also as astronomical observatories. The precision required for such alignment indicates that the builders possessed an advanced understanding of astronomy and geometry, which is quite remarkable for any prehistoric society. The installation process of the dolmens also reflects an in-depth understanding of structural stability. The foundation pits for the upright supporting stones were dug deep into the ground, ensuring a secure base capable of supporting the massive weight of the capstone. This indicates a grasp of soil mechanics that was well ahead of its time. Furthermore, the upright stones were often positioned at a slight inward angle, a strategic choice that enhanced the stability of the structure by evenly distributing the weight of the capstone and improving the overall durability of the dolmen. When we compare these construction techniques with those used in ancient Egypt, we find interesting parallels and contrasts. Like the builders of the Egyptian pyramids, the creators of the Korean dolmens utilized ramps and levers to move and position large stones. However, the purposes and accessibility of these structures were quite different. While the Egyptian pyramids were primarily built supposedly as tombs for the pharaohs and the elite, signifying a hierarchical society, the Korean dolmens were more universally used across different strata of society. This thoughtful approach to the construction and placement of dolmens not only ensured their longevity, but also imbued them with significant astronomical value, making them an integral part of Korea's historical landscape. The dolmen sites in Korea not only offer a window into the Neolithic and Bronze Age periods of the region, but also demonstrate the advanced prehistoric engineering skills and deep-seated cultural traditions of their builders. The impressive size and weight of the stones used in these structures speak volumes about the sophistication of ancient construction techniques, a sophistication paralleled by few other ancient structures worldwide. These stones can measure anywhere from 1 to 7 meters in length and often exceed a meter in thickness. The variation in size across different sites suggests a diversity in burial practices and social hierarchies. Moreover, some dolmens may have served purposes beyond burials, perhaps as markers of territorial boundaries or as sites for ritualistic activities. The logistical challenges of moving and positioning such massive stones were formidable. Transporting these immense weights from quarry sites to their final locations required not only significant physical effort, but also intricate planning and the cooperation of entire communities. When we compare these engineering feats with the megalithic temples of Malta, we see similarities and differences in construction techniques that reflect each culture's unique approach to megalithic structures. Both the Korean dolmens and the Maltese temples highlight an advanced understanding of construction techniques from similar eras. However, while Korean dolmens typically feature simpler structural designs with a focus on vertical and horizontal stone placement, the Maltese temples boast more complex architectural elements like intricate floor plans and decorative facades. This fascinating comparison underscores how different cultures adapted their megalithic construction techniques to fit their local traditions and available resources, creating enduring monuments that continue to awe and inspire. So, what exactly is this Ark of the Covenant that everyone keeps talking about? Well, the Bible describes it as a pretty impressive piece of religious furniture. Imagine a chest made of wood but completely overlaid with gold. And that's not all. It had a fancy lid with 2 golden angels facing each other. But its importance wasn't about its bling factor. Inside this chest were the stone tablets containing the 10 Commandments, the foundation of the agreement between God and his chosen people. The ark wasn't just a box, it was the holiest of holies. It represented God's presence among them. The Bible even gives super-specific instructions on how it should be built and handled. Only certain priests were allowed to carry it, and they had to use poles, so no direct touching. Initially, the ark was kept in a portable tent-like structure called the tabernacle during their desert travels. Later, it got a permanent upgrade when King Solomon built his temple in Jerusalem, where it rested in the super-sacred inner sanctum. For centuries, the Ark of the Covenant has been a source of endless fascination. This legendary golden chest, as described in the Bible, housed the tablets of the Ten Commandments and symbolized God's presence among his people. But since its disappearance after the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, its fate has been shrouded in mystery. Now imagine the headlines. Scientists have pinpointed the Ark's location, ready to reveal one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever. Or have they? The world of Ark of the Covenant theories is a tangled web of historical speculation, passionate belief, and some outright wild ideas. While serious scholars generally focus on the likely destruction of the Ark in antiquity, the excitement of uncovering this legendary artifact leads to an array of persistent, if often far-fetched, claims about its whereabouts. Let's dive into the supposed secret locations, and why the fascination with the Ark refuses to die. Jerusalem, the heart of the Ark's story, remains a prime focus of speculation. The Temple Mount, the site of the ancient Jewish temples, is a maze of tunnels and chambers. Could the Ark be hidden in these unexplored depths? Some historical anecdotes lend a sliver of credence to this idea. Prior to the Roman siege in 70 AD, Jewish priests might have taken extraordinary measures to protect the Ark. This opens the door to legends of secret passages and hidden vaults beneath the sacred site. For the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the question of the Ark's location is settled. They believe it resides in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. According to their tradition, the Ark was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The Ark is never displayed and is closely guarded, making verification of this claim impossible. However, even the possibility of the Ark's existence in Ethiopia holds immense religious importance as a tangible connection to the object at the heart of Jewish and Christian traditions. Where mainstream archaeology often reaches a dead end, conspiracy theories rush in. One popular narrative involves the Knights Templar, medieval warrior monks who amassed wealth and influence during the Crusades. Did they uncover the Ark in Jerusalem and bring it back to Europe? Though there's no historical support, this idea fuels thrilling stories like the Da Vinci Code, where secret societies and hidden lineages protect the Ark and its supposed extraordinary power. Beyond the Templars, other groups like the Freemasons get drawn into the orbit of the Ark of the Covenant. Conspiracy theorists often imagine these societies as possessing esoteric knowledge, wielding the Ark as a tool of influence or hiding it for their own ends. Some theories go fully into the realm of the fantastical. Think of the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the Ark possesses terrifying destructive might. These ideas stem from biblical passages warning of the danger of approaching the Ark improperly. Could it be a weapon, a repository of supernatural energy? For some, these exaggerated readings open the door to outlandish speculations. The supposed locations of the Ark take us on a global tour. Some theories link the Ark to the Lemba people of southern Africa, who have cultural practices and genetic markers suggesting a possible Middle Eastern origin. Did their ancestors bring the Ark with them on a long-ago migration? Other legends place the Ark in Rome, plundered by the legions who sacked Jerusalem in 70 AD, and rumored to lie hidden beneath the churches or even within the Vatican's vast archives. Stranger still, some claims take the Ark off-planet entirely, painting its origins as extraterrestrial technology gifted to ancient humanity. The classic rectangular chest shape sometimes draws comparisons to Egyptian ritual boxes as well. The Ark's allure persists in its unique blend of power, danger, and the thrill of an unresolved mystery. But where does this perception of power come from? And how has it shaped our understanding of the Ark across time? The Bible itself is the source of the Ark's awe-inspiring reputation. It's not just an object, it's described as a conduit for divine presence. The elaborate rituals for handling it and the stories of dire consequences for touching it, like the unfortunate Uzzah, reinforce the idea that this wasn't merely a fancy storage container. While mainstream science rejects the notion of the Ark as a literal weapon, it doesn't stop some outlandish theories. Ideas about electrical charges, radioactivity, or unknown materials try to explain away the Ark's biblical effects. Whether credible or not, these attempts add to the Ark's mystique. There's always that lingering question in the back of one's mind. What if? Fascinatingly, the concept of sacred chests isn't unique to the Israelites. Ancient Egypt brimmed with portable deity shrines, and other cultures used similar boxes in religious processions. Could the Ark, rather than being wholly unique, be part of a broader cultural tradition from its time period? This adds another layer of complexity and historical grounding to the Ark's story. Even in other Abrahamic faiths, echoes of the Ark's significance linger. The Quran's references to a sacred chest with relics could be a trace of shared tradition. The Baha'i faith goes even further, transforming the Ark entirely into a metaphor for the divine knowledge revealed by prophets throughout history. This shows how potent the Ark's core symbolism remains. Over time, did the Ark shift from a physical object to a symbol of the covenant itself? Replicas might have existed, powerful in their spiritual weight even if no longer containing the original tablets. Medieval art depicts the Ark with dramatic flair, influencing modern representations despite often diverging from biblical descriptions. And of course, pop culture loves the Ark. Remember Indiana Jones and his face-melting encounter? It's the perfect mix of historical enigma and a touch of the supernatural, a guaranteed recipe for a thrilling adventure. This potent mix of history, mystery, and the sheer potential for thrilling narratives keeps the Ark's flame alive. But why does the Ark of the Covenant hold such power over our imaginations? Here's the key. Historical gaps exist. Its disappearance during a turbulent time leaves ample space for speculation. Did it perish? Does it lay waiting to be unearthed? The uncertainty is a blank canvas where theories can easily take root. Whether one approaches the Ark from a perspective of faith or historical curiosity, it represents something profound, a connection to the divine, a symbol of God's covenant with the Israelites, or a relic of a bygone era. This emotional and spiritual dimension adds fuel to the quest. Secret societies, hidden clues, quests against the odds, all these elements make for gripping tales. The Ark is embedded in a storytelling tradition that, while not always historically accurate, is undeniably captivating. Deep down, we are drawn to the unsolved, the mysterious. The Ark, straddling history and legend, is the ultimate archaeological puzzle that may never have a definitive answer. While scientists discover makes for a thrilling headline, it's crucial to inject a dose of realism into the Ark of the Covenant narrative. Most reputable archaeologists view the Babylonian destruction of the first temple in 587 BC as the most likely end of the Ark. While not impossible, the survival of an intricately crafted, gold-covered wooden object over millennia, through battles and sieges, seems improbable. Locations based on legends often lack physical evidence to support archaeological exploration. Claims need tangible proof to transition from speculation to scientific process. Additionally, many of the places rumored to hold the Ark are actively used for worship. The search cannot come at the expense of violating religious sensitivities or disrupting communities built on deeply held beliefs. The Ark of the Covenant sits fascinatingly on the line between history, faith, and the enduring human desire to uncover the extraordinary. It's unlikely that any future discovery will fully satisfy everyone. After all, the enduring power of the Ark rests partly in its enigma. Is there a chance the Ark is still out there? Perhaps. But the true treasure might lie in what this ongoing search reveals about ourselves, our need for stories, our reverence for the past, and our unending capacity for wonder. Perched high atop the rugged peaks of the Taurus Mountains in southeastern Turkey, the tomb of King Antiochus Theos of Commagene at Mount Nemrut beckons with the whispers of ancient secrets and celestial mysteries. Erected over 2 millennia ago, this monumental sanctuary is not only a marvel of Hellenistic engineering, but also a cryptic canvas of colossal gods and inscriptions that blend the myths of East and West. As the sun rises and sets, aligning perfectly with the stone behemoths that guard this sacred summit, the mystery deepens. What divine ambitions did this forgotten king harbor, and what secrets lie buried beneath these stone giants, silently watching over the empire of For centuries, the towering statues of Mount Nemrut stood silently, known only to the local people who wove their existence into the fabric of local myths, calling it the throne of the gods. This mix of reverence and legend kept the site tucked away in the annals of folklore until a twist of fate brought it back into the light. In the 1880s, Karl Sester, a German road engineer working on infrastructure projects for the Ottoman Empire, stumbled upon these majestic relics not out of archaeological zeal, but through sheer happenstance. His subsequent sketches and reports were the first to unveil the grandeur of Nemrut's statues to the Western world, sparking a wave of interest among European archaeologists and historians. The rediscovery of Mount Nemrut set the stage for a series of explorations that would delve deeper into its historical and cultural contexts. Shortly after Sester, Osman Hamdi Bey, an Ottoman archaeologist and painter, conducted more systematic studies at the site. He proposed that the Grand Mound could very well be the tomb of King Antiochus III of Commagene, an idea supported by the inscriptions and formidable statues that guard the site. This period marked a significant turning point, drawing a flurry of academic expeditions that pieced together the narrative of King Antiochus I, while enriching the field of Near Eastern archaeology. The artistic styles of the statues, with their blend of Persian, Hellenistic, and indigenous elements, provide a fascinating glimpse into the cultural interplay of the Hellenistic period, post-Alexander the Great's conquests. This fusion of artistic influences offers a window into the dynamic cultural exchanges of the era, further underscoring the historical significance of southeastern Turkey as a cultural crossroads. Perched at an altitude of 2,134 meters in the rugged Taurus Mountains, Mount Nemrut commands a view that stretches vast and wide, overseeing the Euphrates River Valley. This strategic and visual dominance was no accident. It was a clear symbol of power and divine status, meticulously chosen by King Antiochus I. The site's layout, with its statues and burial mound aligned to catch the rays of the rising sun during the equinox and the setting sun at the summer solstice, underscores the solar worship prevalent during Antiochus's reign. This astronomical alignment not only highlights the king's desire to link himself with the cosmos, but also speaks volumes about the sophisticated understanding of celestial patterns by ancient civilizations. The mystical heights of Mount Nemrut in southeastern Turkey are not only a testament to ancient engineering, but also to the pioneering spirit of those who have uncovered its secrets. In 1953, American archaeologist Teresa Girl began a systematic exploration of this enigmatic site, which was particularly groundbreaking as it was one of the first major archaeological projects led by a woman. Her work, supported by institutions like the Bollingen Foundation, the American Philosophical Society, and later the National Geographic Society, was crucial for the sustained excavation and research that would follow. Despite numerous challenges, including harsh weather conditions and logistical issues in transporting equipment up the mountain, Girl's team persevered. Using traditional excavation techniques, Girl and her crew were meticulous in their approach, ensuring the integrity of every artifact and structure discovered. Their efforts unveiled not just the colossal statues, but also a series of reliefs and inscriptions that illuminated the cultural and religious life of the Kingdom of Commagene. These findings were pivotal in confirming that the tumulus was indeed the burial site of Antiochus III, aligning with earlier hypotheses about the site's purpose. As archaeological methods advanced, later explorations at Mount Nemrut incorporated technologies such as digital mapping and photogrammetry. These tools allowed archaeologists to capture high-resolution images of the site, which facilitated precise measurements and detailed records of the statues and inscriptions without risking physical damage. Techniques like ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography were also employed to probe the internal structure of the tumulus, searching for potential burial chambers or other archaeological features without the need for invasive digging. Further studies have focused on the astronomical significance of the site's layout. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues may align with the rising and setting of the sun during solstices and equinoxes, hinting at these events' religious or ceremonial importance in Antiochus's ideology. From the tomb of Antiochus the Baian at Mount Nemrut to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, there lies a fascinating comparison. Both sites were built as tombs for their respective rulers, serving as monumental tributes to their power and divine status. However, while the pyramids are primarily massive stone structures designed to house the pharaoh's remains and belongings for the afterlife, Mount Nemrut combines burial purposes with a religious sanctuary, featuring colossal statues that showcase a blend of Hellenistic and Persian influences. Moreover, both sites exhibit significant astronomical alignments. The pyramids are meticulously aligned to the cardinal points, possibly reflecting celestial phenomena, while Nemrut's layout seems to focus on solar events, emphasizing the importance of astronomy in ancient religious and burial practices. This fascinating alignment hints at a deeper connection between celestial phenomena and the divine rites of ancient rulers, suggesting that these majestic sites were not only final resting places, but also key to understanding the cosmos itself. The artifacts and inscriptions unearthed at Mount Nemrut serve as crucial pieces in piecing together the reign of Antiochus the Theos and the syncretic fabric of the Commagene kingdom. It's truly fascinating how these discoveries offer deep insights into his ambitions and ideological foundations. The inscriptions on Mount Nemrut are a linguistic blend of Greek and Persian, underscoring the dual influences that shaped the kingdom. Greek served as the lingua franca of the broader Hellenistic world, while Persian reflected the local traditions and the legacy of the Achaemenid Empire from which Commagene emerged. Delving deeper into the inscriptions, they frequently include detailed genealogies that link Antiochus to deities and illustrious rulers. This not only legitimized his rule, but also positioned him as a cultural and celestial bridge. Among these, the Nomos of Antiochus inscription is particularly noteworthy. This foundational text outlined the religious and administrative laws Antiochus established, detailing ritual practices and festivals to honor him alongside the gods after his death, effectively creating a state religion that deified the king. Turning our gaze to the statues and reliefs, the iconography at Mount Nemrut is nothing short of spectacular. The statues depict Antiochus the Titan alongside a pantheon of gods such as Zeus Oromasdes, Apollo Mithras, and Hercules Artagnes, merging Greek and Persian divine figures. These statues are not only colossal but intricately carved from stone, showcasing a blend of artistic styles that highlight Antiochus's role as a mediator between his people and the divine. This symbolic placement elevates him to a semi-divine status, visually asserting his place in the cosmic order. An interesting parallel can be drawn between the statues at Mount Nemrut and China's terracotta army. Both serve profound funerary and commemorative purposes, standing as guardians over the afterlives of their respective rulers and as monumental tributes to their divine status. However, while the terracotta army underscores the military might of the Chinese emperor, the statues at Mount Nemrut emphasize a blend of military prowess and divine wisdom, reflecting Antiochus's unique approach to rulership. Moreover, one of the most captivating theories about Mount Nemrut concerns its astronomical alignment. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues and the tumulus itself may align with astronomical phenomena such as solstices and equinoxes. This alignment might mark significant dates like Antiochus's birthday or coronation day, or serve to highlight seasonal festivals that reinforced his divine kingship.
Its fascinating origins, complex construction, and versatile uses offer a glimpse into a community that sought refuge beneath the Earth's surface, crafting a hidden world of remarkable depth and complexity.
And archaeology does not have a good explanation about what they're there for, or why they were built, or when they were built. They're all cut out of stone. You can only date objects that were left in them. You can't say when they were actually made.
The story of Derinkuyu begins in the 8th–7th centuries BCE, with the Phrygians, an Indo-European people renowned for their architectural skills, laying its foundation. What likely started as a modest subterranean enclave was expanded by successive cultures, each adding layers of depth and function to this architectural marvel. Notably, in the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, early Christians seeking sanctuary from Roman persecution carved out additional living quarters, worship spaces, and communal areas.
They were used by Christians, they were used by Muslims, they were used back in 2,000 plus years ago as homes in some cases.
The construction of Derinkuyu was no small feat. It involved the excavation of approximately 2.5 million cubic meters of volcanic rock, known as tuff, which is soft enough to carve but hardens when exposed to air.
ensuring stability for the city's expansive underground structures. Derinkuyu's purpose extended far beyond a mere hideout. It was a bastion during invasions and conflicts in the strategically significant region of Cappadocia.
What makes sense of those underground cities to me is that they were built as places of refuge that people could go into during an episode of meteor bombardment during the Younger Dryas.
Beyond serving as a refuge, it also offered a complete underground living environment with water wells, food storage, livestock pens, and even a prison.
They're fine. They have air vents, they have water, they're incredibly well thought out.
Its intricate layout supported a vibrant community life, with residential areas, communal kitchens, and places of worship, reflecting a society capable of sophisticated urban planning and social organization. The city's capacity to house up to 20,000 people, coupled with its advanced infrastructure, including an extensive ventilation system and a complex water distribution network, speaks volumes about the ancient world's architectural and engineering prowess.
I spent hours down there just wandering around and looking at this amazing place.
Of particular note is Derinkuyu's significance to early Christians, who found not just a safe haven, but a spiritual sanctuary within its depths. The numerous chapels and churches adorned with religious symbols and bas-reliefs provided a focal point for community and faith, underscoring the city's importance as a religious retreat. Derinkuyu, an underground world equivalent to an 18-story building below the Earth's surface. This ancient city, carved deep into the earth to a depth of around 200 feet, provided a year-round comfortable living environment. Thanks to its cooler and more stable temperatures, it's fascinating to think about how it was designed to house up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and possessions, showcasing an incredibly organized society, adept at managing life's necessities in such a confined yet complex space. With at least 18 levels, Derinkuyu was more than just a series of tunnels. It was a fully functioning underground metropolis. The city was meticulously organized into residential areas, communal spaces, and even sectors for livestock, indicating a society that valued structure and community. The intricate layout ensured that despite being underground, movement within the city was fluid. The city's innovative ventilation system is nothing short of remarkable. Thousands of shafts ensured that fresh air reached the deepest levels, a feat that underscores an advanced understanding of environmental control and airflow. This system was crucial for not only providing fresh air, but also for dispersing smoke from cooking and lighting, maintaining air quality for the large population residing within. But perhaps what stands out most about Derinkuyu are its defensive features. Massive stone doors could be rolled across passages to seal off the city, transforming it into a fortress at a moment's notice. The corridors, intentionally narrow, were designed to thwart large groups of invaders, allowing defenders to control movement throughout the city effectively. Moreover, the hidden entrances and exits, some connected to the surface by miles-long tunnels, speak volumes about the strategic planning that went into safeguarding the city. These secret passages allowed for stealthy entrances and exits, crucial for gathering intelligence or making escapes during sieges. Despite the extensive exploration that has peeled back some of its layers, Derinkuyu keeps parts of itself hidden, teasing the imagination with what lies in its uncharted depths. While we've uncovered much, there's still a vast expanse that remains out of reach. Safety concerns and the potential risk of collapse have kept certain sections off-limits, sparking a wildfire of speculation and theories about the full scale of this underground labyrinth. Could there be entire levels we've yet to discover, or hidden rooms filled with ancient artifacts waiting to tell their part of Derinkuyu's tale? The lore surrounding Derinkuyu and its sister cities in Cappadocia weaves a rich tapestry of tales that blur the lines between history and legend. Stories of a vast network of tunnels connecting the underground cities suggest a sophisticated system used for trade, communication, or even as escape routes from invaders.
The two that I visited in the series are Derinkuyu and Kaimakli, and these two sites are joined by an 8-kilometer tunnel underground.
While some of these tunnels have been confirmed, the full extent of this network fuels the imagination about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Speculation about Derinkuyu's past ventures into the realms of the extraordinary. with some suggesting it might have been a refugee for extraterrestrial visitors or a remnant of a lost advanced civilization. Although such theories stretch beyond the bounds of established archaeological evidence, they underscore the fascination Derinkuyu incites, reflecting the human penchant for mystery and the unexplained. Derinkuyu is a hidden gem that tells a tale of human resilience, architectural mastery, and the intricate history of Anatolia. This ancient underground city, a sanctuary carved from the earth, speaks volumes about the lengths to which people will go to protect their beliefs, their culture, and their way of life. Imagine a time between the 1st and 3rd centuries AD when early Christians, facing relentless persecution from the Roman Empire, sought refuge beneath the earth's surface. Derinkuyu became their sanctuary, a place where they could practice their faith in secret away from the oppressive gaze of Roman authorities. Within this subterranean haven, they carved out chapels and churches, adorning them with frescoes that depicted scenes from the Bible and Christian iconography, creating a space that was not just about survival, but about preserving their spiritual and cultural identity. But Derinkuyu was not an isolated refuge, it was part of a vast network of underground cities in Cappadocia, connected by miles of tunnels. These connections weren't just for escape or hiding, they represented a sophisticated system for trade, communication, and strategic movement, highlighting an advanced level of social organization and urban planning in ancient Cappadocia. This network of cities underlines the region's significance as a cultural and economic hub, showcasing the ingenuity of its people in creating a cohesive and cooperative community. The modern rediscovery of Derinkuyu is as fascinating as its history. In 1963, a local stumbled upon a mysterious room behind a wall in his home, unveiling the entrance to this ancient city. This discovery captured the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and the wider public, leading to the exploration of the city and its eventual opening to tourists. Today, Derinkuyu is not just an archaeological site, it's a major tourist attraction that draws people from all over the world eager to explore its ancient passageways, chapels, and the incredible engineering behind its construction. Derinkuyu's significance has been recognized on a global scale, as it, along with other sites in the Cappadocia region, has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This honor speaks to its value to humanity, preserving its history and architecture for future generations. The city stands as a symbol of what humans are capable of achieving when faced with existential threats, creating safe havens of remarkable complexity and beauty. Beyond its historical and architectural value, Derinkuyu serves as an educational resource, offering insights into ancient construction techniques, community living, and survival strategies. It continues to inspire and educate, reminding us of the depths of human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of communities that have faced adversity throughout history.